Pillar number 2 for Sovereign Life Fellowship is prayer. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 17, we hear a verse. If you've grown up in church, you've heard it many times. Pray without ceasing. In Acts 12, verse 5, Peter has been placed into prison. And it says in verse 5, so Peter was kept in prison, but earnest prayer for him was made to God by the church. We believe at Sovereign Life Fellowship that prayer is powerful. We believe our God responds to his people when they pray to him. And as a church, we want this to be a key part of who we are as a fellowship. That when we come together, we have a time of prayer in our services, what we call congregational prayer. And we believe in that time. Like, that's not just something that we're doing to check off the box for prayer. Like, we really believe that as a people, when we come together as a body and we seek the Lord's face in prayer, that great things occur. And so as a church, before we go to men for advice, or before we ask other people's thoughts and ideas and opinions about how we should or shouldn't do something, we want to be a church that first goes to God in prayer. And here's the key for us, and it's difficult for us, I think, as believers. We want to be people who expect God to do great things. Now, here's the big problem for us. Our church has no appetite at all for the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel. We think that's trash. We think it's anti-gospel. We think it's anti-Bible. No believer in the scriptures, none of the disciples, no first century Christian, many other centuries later of Christians would have any concept that following Jesus would mean that your life would go well and you would get everything you want. That's not historical Christianity, and it's not biblical Christianity. But sometimes in our desire to stake that in the ground, that we're not a church who believes in that, we almost move to the other side, and that is we don't even expect God to do marvelous and great things. And I want us as a church to be a fellowship and a body of believers that comes to God and we ask him to do amazing and powerful things, not to relieve our suffering per se, not to make sovereign life great, but to do things that would grow our faith in who he is, that would make his glory known to the world. And we as believers should be expectant when we come to the throne in our time of need, asking for grace, asking for help, asking for God to do what we believe only God can do, and then expect him to do it. And when he doesn't, we trust that it's because that is the better decision. And so as a church, our second pillar is that we would be a church that takes prayer seriously.